Hey guys, it's George from Diamondyard Sportscards. Well, it was 12 years ago today that I wore this jersey when I went to my first and only Super Bowl. I wanted to do a little video with the Super Bowl Sunday and just talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. I hope everybody's having an awesome day, getting excited about the game. It should be a fantastic game, whether you're watching it by yourself, with friends, with family. But it was 12 years ago today that my brother-in-law and a great friend of ours flew out to Florida, and we went to go watch the lowly and much maligned, terrible, long-suffering Arizona Cardinals play against the Pittsburgh Steelers, going for one on the thumb, as the Steeler fans would tell us, as we would hang out with them sometimes during that time when we went there in Orlando, and then eventually in Tampa. So 12 years ago, we were in Tampa on this Sunday afternoon to watch the Arizona Cardinals try to defeat, in front of everybody on national television, defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the cards that are related to some of this, and then just kind of go over some of the memories that I have. So here we go. So guys, the Arizona Cardinals had a long-standing tradition of being terrible. The last time they were good, these guys, Dan Dierdorf, Conrad Dobler, Jim Hart, 1975, well, they were terrible for years after that. And then so terrible that the city really didn't want them, and then they came out here to Arizona. So in 1988, they came out here, and we were so excited to have them out here. Oh my gosh. We got the Cardinals. This is great. Well, they began drafting dudes like this. Rosie, Tim Rosenbaugh. They began drafting guys like this. Tootie Robbins. Yeah, you can see it. Tootie. They were terrible. They stumbled upon a guy who was really a pretty good safety, but nobody knew about him until they, of course, didn't re-up his contract and let him go to San Francisco, where he played in the Super Bowl and I believe maybe even won one. They were so cheap that they wouldn't draft the best player in the draft. They would draft a guy who was from a small school, like Southern. And, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, so they did stumble upon this outstanding cornerback. And so we'd go out to the Cardinal games at Sun Devil Stadium. I was a season ticket holder there for many years because we had nothing better to do. I would show you a ticket. They were $11 a ticket. And this is in like 1994, 95, 96. They did stumble upon Aeneas Williams. Well, we thought our fortunes were going to change a little bit. We had Aeneas Williams. That was awesome. Then we picked up this guy, Simeon Rice. Simeon Rice, franchise player, 1996 Defensive Rookie of the Year. Well, what do? We let him go eventually. You know where he went? Tampa Bay. You know what he did? He won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course he did. But things were looking up. They'd still had Simeon, and in 1998-97, they drafted a quarterback, and he was a local guy. His name was Jake Plummer. And you thought, man, we got Jake Plummer. This is going to be awesome. So they had a run, and they went to the playoffs in 1998. They beat the Cowboys, and then they went out of the playoffs, lost to the Vikings, who then went on to play the Falcons, and the Falcons then went to the Super Bowl and played the Broncos. But anyway, so we thought we were good to go. We were set. We were going to be good to go. Well, meanwhile, in 1999, this guy appeared on the scene. This guy was excellent, came out of nowhere from northern Iowa, and then he ended up winning the MVP. The Rams won the Super Bowl, and then this guy was on top of the world. Meanwhile, we were drafting guys, and our hopes were high. We were finally drafting guys. We had finally drafted guys from schools like Ohio State. And teaming them up together, we were going to be awesome. Well, what happened to that? Soon after the 1997 playoff season of 1998, you saw what Jake Plummer did there. 9 touchdowns the next year, 24 picks. You can't run a franchise like that. So they end up letting this guy go. He goes to Denver and leads them to an AFC championship. Well, we had bigger plans. We were going to bring on guys like Jeff Blake and other guys. Well, they got lucky and they drafted a guy named Anquan Boldin. And that began kind of a change. They had picked up a GM, and his name was a coach. He was a coach also, cast off Dennis Green. Well, Dennis Green came in, and he brought in guys like this, legit superstars. Edgerrin James, they signed him as a free agent, and he said, now, as Dennis Green said, now we got the edge. Yeah, we did have the edge. He was pretty good, but he was past his prime. If you don't remember either, Emmitt Smith played for the Cardinals. Most people try to block that out, especially if they're Cowboy fans. So, Dennis Green also drafted a fantastic player, as I mentioned earlier, who they stumbled upon this guy who had blown his knee out, had been a high school quarterback, but took a chance on him, even though he was slow, drafted him in the second round. Well, he would become and set the NFL rookie record for receiving yards, which was in place until broken this year by Minnesota receiver. I can't remember. I had him on my fantasy team even. Anyway, so we had Anquan Boldin, the heart of a lion, kind of a Walter Payton of wide receivers. The next year, and during that draft, Dennis Green drafted Darnell Dockett, Carlos Dansby, and the next year he drafted this guy. And so we were set. We were going to do big things. Meanwhile, this guy had fallen off the map. He had gotten injured. He had come out of favor with the St. Louis Rams fans. He had, in 2 seasons, in 2002 and 2003, a total of 4 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Cast him off. This cast-off quarterback came here. But the Cardinals had drafted a quarterback named Matt Leinart because they were into picking, the most obvious guy you should take, even though he's obviously not a very good quarterback. Well, this guy led us to some incredible moments. And then, finally, in 2008, we had a season for the ages. These 2 guys, along with the pretty good defense, led the Cardinals to a place they had never been. And that was to the playoffs. And this picture was taken outside the Cardinal Stadium for this game. The first NFC playoff game at University of Phoenix Stadium. This playoff game was unbelievable. We had a home playoff game. The 9-7 Cardinals, the worst playoff team ever, according to Chris Collinsworth. Well, we were in the playoffs, hosting a game. And this gentleman was outside the stadium. And if you had been a Cardinal fan for any period of time, you knew that that sign he was holding was the absolute 100% God's honest truth. So, we ended up going to the NFC Championship. And then eventually, and this is why I'm making this video, my brother-in-law and I and my buddy went to the Super Bowl. My oldest son was 3.5 years old at the time. He gave me a little red car he loved so much. And that little red car, I held it in my pocket the whole time during the whole trip. I had it in my hands at the game when Larry Fitzgerald caught that awesome pass with like about 2 minutes left. And the Cardinals took a 3-point lead. This is my Super Bowl ticket on the Super Bowl Sunday, just showing this off. It's been in this lanyard the entire time. I've taken it out one time to make sure it didn't stick. But this is from Raymond James Stadium on 2/9/09 during the Super Bowl. And so we thought that we had it in the bag. The Cardinals were going to finally win a Super Bowl. Well, unfortunately, as you know, that didn't happen. Thanks to Ben Roethlisberger and some great plays by the Steelers, the Cardinals didn't make it. But still hold that day very special. Thinking about it today, thinking about the people that I was with, and I think about it every Super Bowl Sunday. And so today we have some great teams playing at Raymond James Stadium. We have the GOAT. We got Gronkowski. We got Leonard Fournette. And obviously the Kansas City Chiefs have their players. I would show you some Patrick Mahomes rookies. You know what? They're all off at PSA and have been for God knows how long. But anyway, guys, just wanted to kind of go through this. We were at that Super Bowl, and it was finally, for the Cardinals, a cold day in hell. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your Super Bowl with friends and family. And keep collecting.